are here in Rochester, Minnesota on June 17th. I'm Stephanie, and I'm here with...
I'm Colin.
Christina.
I'm Logan.
Dylan.
David.
And we are interviewing...
I'm Shelly Kuhlmann.
All right, and please tell us your story.
Last October, the night before the big event for my nonprofit foundation, which supports brain tumor research, of which we have funded hundreds of thousands of dollars. The night before the event, I'm getting ready, preparing, running around, getting everything set for 1,000 people to show up in the morning. And I get a phone call, and it was from my late husband's dad, and to tell me that his wife, my mother-in-law, had just been diagnosed with a brain tumor. So this is very close to my heart. Research, it's all about research, baby. That's kind of my line. It really is, because without research, there's no progress. We maybe won't find a cure for a brain tumor, but for people to live a longer life and a better life, to have a treatment that will make their life easier and better, and to stay with their family, that's really a huge goal, for my foundation and for the work that we do, and for me personally. I said today earlier in our group that a gentleman had written on a napkin while I was talking, it takes one person to change the world. That person can be you. And I was talking, he handed me the napkin, and I continued to talk. And when I looked at it later, I thought, well, that's pretty heady. I am not going to change the world. But it's just a mindset. Do what you can, be involved, because one little thing that you do can affect the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And, something will change the world. And if you had a little teeny part of it, that'd be great. So... that's kind of what led me here. This support group that you were in today, and that was started by my husband, because when he was going through treatment, he kept saying things like, I had radiation, my scalp's really itchy, and I wonder if everybody else has that too. And he said, I wish I could talk to some other people. And so we got connected with a woman and who was going through the same treatment, and they became very best friends because they had this thing in common. And it's amazing what can grow out of some little thing. Here we are 10, 11 years later in this support group. We've grown from meeting in our homes to meeting at the Hope Lodge, and I think we've affected a lot of people. And I always try to tell people when they come to the support group, I realize what has happened to me is the worst scenario, but I certainly hope that my experience and something that I can share with you will help your next day be good, help your next week be good. It isn't about, I'm not a therapist, but I've been through this. I've been through the trenches, and I'm always hopeful that something that we say and do can help somebody, even just in one day. So.
Can you talk a little bit more how you started bringing this together?
For a Cure? The Brains Together for a Cure is a nonprofit foundation that I call it a grassroots organization started by a couple women. I'll call her my business partner, Sue, works at the Mayo Clinic, and she in the cancer center. She had gotten a phone call from an organization related to her work, and I think during the conversation, the person said to her, is there any fundraising in your area? And I think she said, no, I don't think so. And she said, well, you should think about putting something together and trying to raise some money for brain tumor research. So I met her because when my husband went on a clinical trial, she was the woman that did the paperwork with us, and we just became instant friends. I mean, it was an instant bond. We knew we were like sisters. And so she came to me and said she had talked to a few other coworkers, and would I be interested in helping? And the line I often say to repeat is that I told her, be careful what you wish for, Sue, because if you want me to help, we're going to make something happen. So she gathered these other coworkers of hers and friends that were willing. We kind of all got together. The name of the group, I'll tell you, was named by a gal who had a brain tumor. She's not with us anymore, and we had a little session to try to figure out what to name it. And she said, "Well, we just got to put our brains together for something." And so we just kind of laughed, like, "Okay, let's just call it that." So we had our first event in the fall of 2007, and we made flyers, handed them out. We hoped people would come, and we were going to have just a 5K walk out at the college campus here. And we had no online registration at the time, nothing for that, that purpose. People just would write us a check, here's $20 for my registration. We had about 90 or 100 people pre-registered. We had 540 some people show up that morning. We were unprepared for. Word spread, and we really had no idea how affected people were in this area in southern Minnesota. One person told the next person told the next person. Last year was the 10th event that we had held, and we had over 1,000 people. It's really grown. We have donated and funded projects at Mayo Clinic, about $823,000 worth of research projects at Mayo Clinic for brain tumor research, and that's just what we've donated. So we've done, for a grassroots effort by a couple ladies, we think we've done pretty well, because it has to start somewhere. We're funding pilot projects, small projects, but somebody has to find the answer, and if it starts from our money, then all the better. So that's how it started.